and Susan Johnson.
My name is Susanne Johnson. I'm a resident and a parent in the district. First, I do want to make one acknowledgement. It is National Principal Month, and I don't have a lot of experience with y'all, but Ms. Golden is an excellent administrator of the building and a great asset to Littlestown. School board, next on my parent statement. School board committee meetings aren't live streamed, but are we have very important deliberations about the spending of public funds. And those deliberations are happening at the finance committee meeting, and maybe some aren't aware of what's going on. I strongly encourage all board members and taxpayers to listen to those meeting recordings and review the very informative financial presentations that are prepared by our member. One topic discussed in those committees, but not in that committee, but not on the agenda for the full board meetings, was the food service fund surplus and spend down plan. Food service is supposed to be a nonprofit account, so why did the district net about $400,000 last year alone after covering all expenses, plus any negative student meal account balances, in what was supposed to be a nonprofit account? And in addition to price-controlled meals, they are also selling a la carte items to our students, such as ice cream, chips, and Uncrustable sandwiches. These sales are like a built-in fundraiser that is regularly generating an excessive surplus in the food service account, which I will reiterate again, is supposed to be nonprofit. This $400,000 excessive surplus is the equivalent of nearly a 2.25% school tax increase. However, this is not paid by all the taxpayers in this district, but rather only the parents who are also taxpayers. Further, the spending of these funds restricts to food service items such as cafeteria equipment, how much of that can we possibly buy each year, and it can't be used to improve student programs or for any other use. This practice of generating an excessive surplus in the food service fund needs to be addressed immediately. I don't know if meal prices could be adjusted now or if it has to wait until next year. However, I believe that the prices and numbers of choices for a la carte items should be addressed immediately to reduce the creation of a large surplus in this nonprofit food service account this year. Next, I would like to address the issue of community engagement with the school board, which was brought up at last week's special session and several other times in the past. As someone that has been engaged with the school board since moving here 3 years ago, I've experienced the frustration of being ignored and or attacked for sharing my feedback on decisions made by U.S. public officials. Having previous experience with engaging with another school board in Maryland, I can say that I was quite surprised when I moved here. And it appeared to be the standard operating procedure for Littlestown school boards to ignore emails from constituents and leave it to the superintendent to respond. School board directors are accountable to the voters, and your constituents deserve individual responses to their concerns and deserve to understand why each of you makes decisions we're making on their behalf, not just the superintendent. With the changes in leadership in December, when the new interim superintendent and 7 new school board members, I began not only experience being ignored, but also personally attacked for sharing my views. Such behavior not only discourages community engagement, but violates the First Amendment of the Constitution. This board is engaged in viewpoint discrimination by limiting the speech of some, while allowing other board members and members of the public to not only freely express their views, but also make defamatory statements about other school members and myself, which is extremely egregious, as I'm a district parent, not a public official. I've heard many in this room make incorrect allegations of defamation, which, by definition, requires that the statement be false. For example, when I post videos of what actually happens at a public meeting, that isn't defamation. However, it is defamation to accuse me of posting misinformation or being focused on one board member when I post recordings of the entire meeting and all in attendance. This board has implemented public meeting recording guidelines that violate the PA Sunshine Act and the freedom of the press and the First Amendment. Tonight, these recording guidelines were temporarily suspended during the student event once recognition to allow parents to record from wherever they were seated. This demonstrates that recording from any seat can be done without interfering with the conduct of the meeting or making some order. Therefore, your guidelines that restrict the recording location are in fact arbitrary, not necessary, and thus violate the PA Sunshine Act and the First Amendment. they may be a violation of the 14th Amendment, which requires equal protection clause, which is equal protection clause that prohibits